Top 10 things to do or not to do during your reimbursement process. Number 10.
Create digital copies of the form and/or receipts in an eligible manner. Please submit your receipts clearly.
Number 9. Order or sequence your receipts in the same order that you list them on your form.
Number 8. You do not have a spending limit with regard to buying a computer or other technology or hardware or software.
Number 7. Provide the foreign currency exchange rate and information details if you're buying something outside of Canada. We need to have the dollar amount, the pound amount, the peso amount, whatever amount that's showing in the original currency. If it's not Canadian dollar amount, we need you to provide official documentation of the exchange rate. You can provide that documentation most easily if you've bought something from the US, because on your credit card statement you will have a conversion, and you can take a screenshot of the conversion on your credit card statement or bank statement and provide that with your receipt. Please don't send us a full copy of your credit card statement. We just want the area that shows the currency exchange.
Number 6. On your reimbursement form, please use the first and last name that you used on your child's registration form. We need your names to match.
Number 5, when you are completing your reimbursement requests, remember that you don't have to keep up with the dollar amount that you spend per child, even though your funding amount is determined by how many home ed students you have. All of that funding per child does go into a family account. So if you have 2 or more children, the funding for all children will go into a family account. And then you, the parent, because you are teacher, principal, superintendent, board member, you get to decide how you budget your total home ed funding. You don't have to say, oh, $850 for Johnny, $850 for Susie, and so forth. It's a family amount, and so you get to allocate those funds according to how you need to spend the funding.
Number 4. Do not use a separate reimbursement form for each of your children. You can combine all of your receipts for all of your children onto one reimbursement form.
Number 3, make sure that the dollar amount that shows on your receipt is the same dollar amount that shows on your reimbursement form. Vice versa. The amount that you're claiming for reimbursement on your reimbursement form needs to be clearly shown on your receipt. Sometimes the receipt will easily show the amount because that's all you've bought, and so that's all you're requesting reimbursement for. Where it gets a little tricky is when you go to any store and you buy let's say you buy 10 things, and 6 of those things are your own personal things. You're not looking for reimbursement for those things, but the remaining 4 items you do want reimbursement for. So you need to total up the amount of those 4 items, clearly indicate the dollar amount for those 4 items, because obviously the sum total of those 10 items will not be the amount that's going to be reimbursed to you, only the amount for the 4 items. So make sure that your receipt, if you're having to hand calculate things, that the amount that you handwrite on that receipt is the same amount that you record on the reimbursement form. If we have to try to determine which items that qualify and which items you're looking to be reimbursed for, we likely won't get it right, but we will decide because we have to defend our decision when we submit the reimbursement. So do us a favor, make it easy for us to know exactly what it is that you want reimbursed. So again, make sure the reimbursement form shows the dollar amount that is shown also on the receipt.
Number 2, use one receipt per line on the reimbursement form. Please do not itemize your receipt onto the reimbursement form. One receipt, one line.
And number 1, do not itemize your receipt. Bing, bing, bing. Do not itemize your receipt. If you have a receipt that shows 10, 20 items, I don't need to see on the reimbursement form that same list of 10 or 20 items. I just, as number 2 said, one receipt per line. So on that one line will be, let's say you bought something from Staples. You bought 10 things from Staples. Well, you don't record each individual item on each individual line in the form. It's just one line from Staples, then the total amount. Don't itemize every item on that receipt. We don't need to see that. So again, please do not itemize your receipt.